In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Great new day to all my self-care friends and family. Welcome back to another Room to Breathe podcast. I am your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so glad that you have made space to be here today. Now, before we jump into today's episode, I need everyone to do me a quick favor. If you are feeling the vibe, go ahead and show me some love. You can do so by tapping the screen, liking, commenting, but most importantly, I want you to share this out with someone who may need a little healing energy today. And if this is your first time here or you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit that follow button, subscribe to our channel, so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also want to personally invite each and every one of you to check out our digital home at theselfcareclub.org, where you will find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch, as well as a ton of free resources to nourish your growth and remind you that you are supported every step of the way. Just know that you do not have to do this alone. We are healing in community, growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, I encourage you to give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, and to make space for peace, for growth, but most importantly, for you. Now, if anything in today's episode hits home, I want you to drop some green hearts in the chat. That is our community's way of saying that I am healing, I am growing, and I am showing up for me. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. Welcome in, Miss Sherry. I see you, Chris. We got the vegan healer in the house. Sandra's in the building. Sunbeam. We got Mr. Jackson. Who else is in here with us today? I know I'm not the only one, right? We're healing in community, y'all. And listen, you guys, before we even jump into today's topic, listen, I think we just need to pause, right? Right out the gate. I want to take this opportunity to ask each and every one of you who can hear me, how's your spirit doing today? Like, I want to know how your soul is doing. Add it in the chat. Let me know. Use an emoji if you need to. All right. Sometimes we don't know. We don't know how we feel. All right. For me, to answer the question, I feel refreshed. I had shared with some of you yesterday that I, was up for a good 48 hours, not having any sleep, but I'm happy to report that I got some rest last night. So I am feeling amazing. Thank you for asking, Miss Sherry. Miss Sherry says she's doing great. I know earlier, the vegan healer said that I think she said she was at peace, but today felt peaceful, right? Calm. And it's important for us to check in with ourselves. When we get up in the morning and we go look in that mirror, when we go, to brush our teeth, wash our face, ask yourself, how are we doing today? How's our spirit today? How's our soul feeling today? Right? It's imperative that we take, these moments to just check in with ourselves. And it's an opportunity for us to, again, focus on our breathing, right? The thing that we can control, inhaling peace, exhaling release, right? Letting go of the things that no longer serve us. So, the fact that you guys are here today, means that you've already chosen you. A lot of you think, oh, I'm showing up for you, coach. No, you're showing up for you. And, by you being here today, it's your way of saying, I deserve this space. I deserve to heal. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. And so if anybody agrees, feel free to type, I choose me in the chat, right? I choose me every day. And what better day to choose us than on a Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. But, today's conversation is something that I think that we don't always name, but I think that we always carry it. And that's shame, right? And more importantly, I want to talk today about how shame dies when the stories start being told in safe spaces. If I'm being real, shame is something that is so heavy that each and every one of us can say that we've experienced. Some of us are currently experiencing it. Welcome in, Buddha. And I'm not talking about just emotionally, right? Right? It shows up in our bodies. Some of us, carry the shame in our shoulders. We are hunched over like we're always waiting for the next blow, right? We're trying to brace ourselves for what's about to happen next. Some of us carry it in our chest, like a tightness that makes it feel hard to breathe. For others, we carry it in our guts, right? And that leaves us with that sick, unsettled feeling that never quite goes away. Shame isn't just a thought. Shame is a weight. And what makes it heavier is silence. From a young age, many of us are taught to keep things to ourselves, right? We grow up with the belief that, you don't go out there and air your dirty laundry. That old, what happens in this house stays in this house. Our little boys are raised to don't let nobody see you cry. Does that sound familiar to any of you? And so instead of us speaking, right, we learn how to swallow. We learn how to bury. We learn how to fake fine, to perform strength while we are crumbling on the inside. And so that silence becomes a prison. We think that we are protecting ourselves, but what we're really doing is locking our own soul in a cage. And let's make it plain. Silence gives shame power. See, shame thrives on secrecy. It whispers, if they knew the real you, they wouldn't love you. If they knew about your past, they'd walk away from you. If they knew about your struggles, they would look at you differently. And after a while, we start to believe that. But here's the thing, family. When you actually name the weight, when you call it out, you start to strip shame of its power. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. The shadows don't seem so big anymore. Think about a time where you finally admitted something out loud, maybe to a friend, a therapist, your journal, or even God, right? And those tears just started to flow. I want you guys to understand that that's not weakness. That's release. Okay? That's the sound of shame loosening its grip. And I want you guys to hear me very clearly. Naming the weight, when I'm talking about naming the weight, I'm not talking about telling everybody your business, right? I believe that, transparency is the key to healing, but privacy is important. Okay. So I'm not talking about you just going out there and telling everybody your business. It's just simply about speaking your truth. And that conversation has to first happen with yourself, because you can't heal what you keep pretending that you don't feel. Okay. You cannot heal what you won't admit is hurting you. Silence can feel safe, right? Like if I don't say anything, nobody can hurt me, right? So it feels safe in that space. Or maybe it's if I don't share, I won't have to explain myself. Like I know that feeling all too well, you guys. But the truth of the matter is silence isn't safety. Silence is a trap. Silence is a prison. And the longer we keep our stories tucked away, the heavier that shame becomes. Think about it. When we stay silent, we give the shame permission to define us. Shame tells us lies over and over and over again until we start to believe them. Suddenly, we have this, idea of ourselves that we're broken, that we're too much, that will never be understood. And before you know it, you start to internalize those lies. So today, I just want to break it down for you because, there's a big difference between guilt and shame. Guilt says I did something wrong. That's a behavior, a choice, something external. But shame, oh, honey, that says I am wrong. I am broken. I am too much. And that's internal. Guilt, external. Shame, internal. And that's that identity level, right? And it sneaks in while you're silent, whispering, that your whole self is flawed, that everything is wrong with you because of what happened or what you did or what was done to you. And so guilt can be just as heavy, but shame is suffocating. And the craziest part is we often mistake shame for safety. We think if I just keep quiet, no one can hurt me. But in reality, keeping quiet gives shame space to grow. It makes space for it to whisper those lies until all of a sudden, they feel like the gospel truth. And I know that some of you are thinking, but coach, if I say something, I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be hurt even more. And listen, I hear you. That fear is real. But here's the thing. You don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to, risk unsafe spaces. What we're talking about is learning how to discern, right? Learning the spaces that are safe for you. Finding or creating spaces where your truth can breathe without being weaponized against you. I want you guys to ask yourself, where in my life have I mistaken my silence for safety? Is it in a relationship? In your families? Hey, Cardi, welcome in. At work? Maybe with yourself, right? And here's the kicker. What would it feel like to release just a little bit of that silence today? How would it feel just to get one of those weights off your back? I want you guys to take a deep breath with me. Inhale the truth. Exhale the shame. Again, breathe in the truth. Exhale the shame. And while you continue to focus on your breath, I want you to remember this affirmation. I no longer let silence define me. Breathe in. Exhale. I no longer let silence define me. One more time. Exhale. I no longer let silence define me. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, I've tried that before. I've tried to share before, and I got hurt. That's me, y'all. I've spoken my truth in rooms that turned that information against me and weaponized it against me. It was beyond them judging me, right? They used it against me. Hey, Kale, welcome in, beautiful. So again, I feel it. I've been there too. Where we finally gather the courage to open our heart, to share our story, and instead of compassion, you get judgment, right? Instead of understanding, you get gossip. Instead of a hand to hold, you get silence or even rejection. Welcome in, Pamela, right? And that cuts deep because it took a lot of courage to speak your truth. And so for someone to then weaponize that against you, to use it against you, it hurts. Sometimes it makes you want to shut down forever. You start thinking, why even try? Why risk being vulnerable if I'm just going to be mishandled again? Some, again, for some, they completely, like I said, just shut down. But today I want to say this loud and clear. One unsafe space does not mean that all spaces are unsafe. One person mishandling your truth does not make your story any less worthy of being heard. Think about it. If you've ever been burned after being vulnerable, put a green heart in the chat. Let's start by acknowledging the pain. Who you with? Welcome in. Thank you for the gifts. Let's just start by acknowledging the pain, you guys. It's real. It's valid. So again, if you've ever been in an unsafe space, right? You've been burned after being vulnerable and speaking your truth. Just put a green heart in the chat. Because again, it starts by us acknowledging the pain. I've been hurt, right? Someone's hurt me before. I spoke my truth and they used it against me. All right. So we got a few people on each platform. Sometimes an unsafe space simply teaches us a lesson. It shows us who can hold our truth and who cannot, right? It's not a failure, right? These situations are filters. And filters are necessary, right? They protect your energy while you learn to trust again. And, I want you guys to hear me. Just because someone mishandled your story doesn't mean that your story isn't valuable. Like, I don't know how many times I'm going to need to stress that today, but it's on me to keep saying that just because someone mishandled your story, it doesn't mean that your story isn't valuable. Don't let one wrong listener convince you that your voice doesn't deserve to be heard. Rejection and judgment are about them, not you. Their inability to hold your truth safely reflects their capacity, not your value. I want you guys to think about the times that you've tried to open up and it didn't go well. Right? Think about that disappointment, that hurt, that frustration. And in this moment, I want you guys to say, I will not let one unsafe space silence my truth. All those moments that you were mishandled, today we declare that I will not let one unsafe space silence my truth. I will not let one unsafe space silence my truth. So I want to spend some time today talking about safe spaces because I truly believe that safe spaces are like oxygen for the soul. Okay? And, after we've been hurt by the unsafe spaces, right? We've spent too much time giving those unsafe spaces, space to grow and take over. I think that finding or creating safe spaces starts to feel like discovering a little piece of heaven right here on earth. Because again, like I said, safe spaces are like oxygen for the soul. Think about the last time you shared something vulnerable with someone who, you know, who didn't judge you, right? Maybe you cried, maybe your voice shook, maybe your hands were trembling. But the moment you finished, instead of criticism or gossip, you were met with understanding, compassion, a hand on the shoulder, maybe a soft whisper of "me too," or maybe even silence that just let you be. That's the feeling of, you know, being truly seen, truly heard, and truly safe. And, you know, sometimes just being heard is more important than being fixed. Like, I don't want you to fix me. I just want you to hear what I'm saying. I just want you to hear about my experience. Sometimes we don't need advice or solutions. What we really want is acknowledgement. We want to hear, I see you, I hear you, you're not alone. And so when I take the opportunity to picture a safe space, it's a community where I feel safe to just speak my truth. If someone asks me, how am I feeling today? And I'm not feeling good, I don't want to feel obligated to say, oh, I'm fine. I want to say, hey, you know what? Today's not the day. I don't feel good. And I don't want to be judged, right? So I want you guys to picture that safe space. What does that look like for you? How does it feel? Maybe for you, a safe space is a friend. Maybe it's a therapist or a life coach. Maybe it's a journal, a community, or even a space like this. Perhaps this chat is your safe space. And as you picture yourself being in that safe space, I want you to imagine the weight lifting off of your chest, that burden being removed off of your back, as you finally speak your truth without fear. Sometimes just saying, I'm not okay, and that's okay, right? Sometimes just saying that relieves so much of the pressure. We don't have to always talk about it. We don't have to always go in detail about it. But sometimes just simply saying, I'm not okay, is okay. And listen, for those of you who are like, I can't even imagine what this safe space looks like because I don't have one, right? It's okay. If you don't have one yet, you can create one. Simply just start small. It could be, you know, as simple as finding a friend that you can trust, joining a support group. For many people, I say start by writing in a journal. You can be your own safe space. The key is finding a space where you can, you know, share your story and breathe without judgment, without interruption, without shame. And I just want to remind you that safe spaces are not just nice, right? They are necessary, you guys. It is a key part of our self-care journey, having a safe space, having communities where we can heal together. Safe spaces are our medicine. It's like a sanctuary for you. They are what allows us to release the weight of shame little by little, day by day. So again, think about, you know, who or what in your life currently serves as your safe space. And like I said, if one doesn't exist today, what's one small step that you can take to create one? Shame cannot survive in community. Okay? Shame doesn't survive in community. Not one bit. Miss Blessed, welcome in. Hey, baby Slim. Shame shrinks the moment it is met with a me too. Because that simple acknowledgement that someone else has been there, someone else has felt it, someone else has survived it, changes everything. That me too is like medicine for our soul. Hey, Rose. Let me tell you guys a story. I remember when I first started sharing my story publicly. And I finally just started going live and sharing, my life experiences. Y'all, it may not have shown up on camera, although I'm sure it probably did. But I was shaking. My palms were sweaty. My heart was racing. And something kept telling me to keep talking, right? But I was so nervous. Like, for some reason, I thought that people would look at me differently, right? I thought I'd be labeled as too much, being extra, right? I worried that people would judge me for my past, for my mistakes, for my pain. But something so beautiful happened after I spoke. I can remember somebody inboxed me, and it was like a tight hug, y'all. Like, I don't know, just reading their message felt like they were giving me a great big hug. But their message started by saying me too. And family, I'm telling you, that little phrase, me too, it set me free in a way that nothing else could. It reminded me that I was not alone. And, that my story, with all of its rawness, all of its messiness, was valuable. And in that moment, I felt like my voice mattered. And, I want you guys to know that you're not the only one carrying that burden. Your story, your truth, your vulnerability, it is the medicine for someone else who is still suffering in silence. The things that you've gotten through, someone else is currently going through, or it's someone's season coming up. So your story is medicine for someone else who is sitting there currently suffering in silence. Someone is waiting for your me too. DJ Vetta, thank you so much. Welcome in. Hey, Sharon. So, let's be sure to show up, not just for ourselves, but for our community, and start speaking our truth. Start having these conversations. Thank you. Right? We need to continue to have these conversations and heal out loud, heal in community. And you guys, it's not just about, these big public disclosures. I'm not saying everyone needs to press the button, go live and speak their truth, right? It's also, the conversations that we have in the small communities around us. It's about finding people who don't gossip, who don't minimize, people who simply hold space for your truth. Community doesn't, just shrink shame. It starts to normalize it. It teaches us that our struggles don't make us broken, that they make us human. That sense of me too allows us to release the weight a little bit at a time. So again, as you navigate through today, I want you to start asking yourself, who in your life could you lean on, to feel this kind of safe, healing community? And if you can't think of anybody yet, again, it's okay. Start small. Start by seeking or creating or joining communities that already exist, right? Communities that uplift instead of shame. This work that we're doing is a truly powerful, liberating work right here, you guys. And, the beauty of it is we get to do it. We have the opportunity to do it, right? And so again, when you think about building this, your own safe space, right? Because if it doesn't exist, we build it, right? So, we start by naming the weight. We've explored the dangers of silence. We've survived the lessons of unsafe spaces. Been there, done that, right? And we've felt the healing power. We know what it feels like to be in a safe space, right? A safe community. So let's talk about how you can actually build your own safe space, right? And as you get ready to build your safe space, you start by asking yourself, is this space, is this person or place judgment free? Because in order for a space to be safe, this has to be a judgment free zone. Next, you ask yourself, can I trust them with my story? And see, these are all yes or no answers. There's no in between, y'all. Is this person or place judgment free? Yes or no? If it's yes, move on to the next question. If it's no, exit stage left, start over. Can I trust them with my story? Yes or no? If it's yes, keep moving. If it's no, let's keep moving. Right? Head the other way. Do they honor confidentiality? Yes or no? And so you made it that far. Now you have to ask yourself, do I feel lighter after sharing or heavier? Because all of these things require a yes in order for that space to be deemed safe. And that last question is critical. Because if you leave a space feeling drained, that's not a safe space. Okay? It's a leak of energy. And we don't have time to pour our souls into spaces that don't nourish them back. We don't have time. Like, I'm not going to sit here and keep pouring out into a cup that has a hole in it and I can see the leak. I see all of my energy, all of my love, everything that I have to give just leaking out the bottom. I'm not doing that. So you have to understand that after having a conversation with a person or in a certain space, even, the live streams that we sit in, after, you've sat there, you've listened to everything that they have to say. Now the live has ended. Do you feel lighter or heavier? After sitting in a space, do you feel tired and drained? Or do you feel empowered and motivated? Because see, if you're feeling heavier, if you are tired, if you just feel drained, then you just spent time, or actually you just wasted time with energy vampires who have just sat there and sucked the life out of you. And you know what? Some of those live streams are the most engaging, most interactive. It seemed fun. It was lit when we was there, right? But now they've just sucked all of the life out of you, all of the energy out of you. And for what? Now you have nothing to show for it. So again, I don't sit in spaces where I walk away and don't feel empowered, encouraged. That's not for me. So I want you guys to make sure that you are, not pouring your soul into a space that is not prepared to nourish it back. And now the good news about all of this, you guys, is that if you don't have a safe space yet, you can create one. You don't have to wait for someone else to make it for you. Like I said, it's about starting small. One trusting friend, or a journaling circle, or therapy, coaching, a support group. And let me take this opportunity to plug my community for just a moment. Because I was that person back in 2020. Yeah, I didn't feel like I had a safe space. I felt that all my spaces had kind of just dried up, tapped out. I didn't know what to do anymore. And so in the process of me going to therapy and coaching, I learned that I needed safe spaces and I needed new safe spaces. So I still had some in play, but I needed fresh, safe spaces, right? I needed to be in communities. And so I built a virtual community, which we call the Self-Care Club or our Room to Breathe community. And I wanted to have a space for like-minded individuals all over the world, right? Bigger than just my neighborhood, bigger than the people that I've grown up with. I wanted to create a community all over the world that like-minded individuals could come together and share stories, that we can share our perspectives on things. And so, like I said, I built this virtual self-care club community where we are now housed on Discord. Not to only be a safe space for me, but as a safe space for you. Okay? A place where you can share your stories without judgment. That you can connect with people who are on the same journey. Breathe with other people who get it and are not afraid to admit it. Right? And where you can find encouragement when shame tries to creep back in. So for those of you who are either looking for new or additional communities, or you haven't quite found one just yet, I invite each and every one of you to consider joining our community. It is a free community. Like I said, it is housed on Discord. To gain access to the community, you just head over to my website at selfcareclub.org. And, again, if you're ready to step into a community where your voice is valued, where your stories matter, I invite you to come and join us. I'll be sure to include the link in our podcast description. But again, you guys, you don't have to wait for that. Your safe space is already waiting for you. We've already built the community. We are like 60 strong. Okay. So head over to the selfcareclub.org and you guys can join now. Our doors are always open. There's always a conversation, ready to be had. So come engage. And for those of you who like to just sit and see, sit there, feel it out until you feel comfortable. And the beauty of creating safe spaces is that it not only helps us release shame, but they allow our truth to thrive, our voices to be heard, and our healing to grow. It enables us to take these conversations offline and start healing in real time. Hey, Lolo, welcome in. So again, you guys, remember, your safe space, whether it's a trusted friend, therapy, coaching, a journal, or the virtual self-care club community. Safe spaces exist, and you deserve to have one. Now, you guys, we've walked through this journey together, right? Short but sweet. Again, we talked about naming the weight on us, understanding that false safety of silence, surviving in those unsafe spaces, right? We done got about the trap, feeling the healing power of the safe space, and, just learning how to build our own community. If we can't find it out there, then maybe God is telling us to create it. So let's lock in on this truth, the whole moral of today's story, the lesson for today, right? Shame dies when stories are told in safe spaces. I want you guys to understand that your story is not your shame. Your story is your strength. And you get to release silence and embrace healing. You get to. That's your right. Each and every one of you deserve safe spaces to be heard, seen, valued, and loved. So I hope today that you guys felt that energy. Let it move through you, because that right there, that feeling, is your soul remembering it is safe for you to exist. It is safe for you to share. It is safe for you to be unapologetically you. Again, I've extended this loving invitation For those of you who are ready to continue this journey with other people who get it, who will hold space for you without judgment, other people who are celebrating courage, right? Celebrating our wins, no matter how big or small. I encourage you to come join us in the Self-Care Club community. And, for me, you guys, I look at it as being more than a group. Like, that community is my sanctuary. A place where people can come and share their stories, connect with others, and just participate in healing sessions. Guided journaling, we have these live chat communities, but I want to expand our virtual community to also include meditations, just things for us to soak up the energy of people who truly see you. The link will be in the chat description, or you could just go ahead and head directly over to the website at selfcareclub.org and know that your safe space is waiting for you. Now, as we get ready to wrap up, you guys, let's take one final deep breath together. I want us to inhale love. Exhale shame. Inhale courage. Exhale fear. Inhale and exhale. Remember, you are worthy, you are seen, you are healing. If today's episode spoke to you, again, be sure to share it with someone else who needs to hear that their story matters and that shame has no power where love and community exist. Now, before we part ways, I want to leave each and every one of you with just a little extra love and light. As always, I encourage you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every moment in between. I want you to keep choosing peace, even when it feels just out of reach. And for each and every one of you to know that here at the Self-Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't be afraid to take up space, to speak your truth, and make a little room for you to breathe. I love each and every one of you to life, and I am praying that your day is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and yes, on purpose, filled with purpose. This has been another Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Thank you.